So I'll start that now. So we are good to go there. And then as people are jumping in, please, by all means, share where you're calling in from. That's something that we certainly appreciate. So definitely share that if possible. And what I'll do from here is I will pass it over to our P&T team.
Thank you so much, RJ. It's a pleasure to be here today. Welcome, students and alumni. We are so excited to present to you today. What better opportunity than this to actually present some of the incredible opportunities that we have at Western Governors University. And so let me first introduce myself. So my name is Corey Cude, and I am a talent acquisition manager, and I have been with WGU. It's coming up on 9 years. It's hard to believe that I've been here that long, and have seen some incredible growth over the past 9 years. And I would like to also introduce my counterpart, Jared Schiller. Jared Schiller is also a talent acquisition manager. He works hand in hand, side by side with me. We split up all of the schools and academic delivery positions that we have here at the university. And I would also like to introduce a very special guest today, Christina Malbarak. Christina is a WGU employee. She works here in talent acquisition with us. She's a senior talent acquisition partner, but she is also a former student and WGU alumni, and she's going to talk with us a little bit later on in the presentation today about her experience of moving through her student journey and also working here at Western Governors University. So, of course, we have, so many great stories to tell. Everyone has their own experiences here at WGU, but I think Christina's is going to be one that you would really enjoy hearing about. So she's very passionate about what we do here. Obviously, she works in talent acquisition. She can share that story with each and every single individual that she talks with, who's looking for a new opportunity here at the university. So first of all, I would love to start this off with a 1-minute video from our president, Scott Pulsifer. And I'm going to hand that over to Jared. Jared, do you want to cue that up for me?
Yep. Coming right up.
I'm Scott Pulsifer, president of Western Governors University. As you consider joining our team, there are many things you'll want to learn before you make your decision, but there's one thing that's most important. WGU is a mission-driven organization. We exist to change lives for the better by creating pathways to opportunity. Every day and in everything we do, we are focused on students. To us, this focus means that we are actively working to develop innovative programs, systems, and technologies that will enable us to positively impact not just hundreds of thousands, but millions of individuals. What does this mean to our employees? It means that working at WGU is not just a job, it's a career with a purpose. Whether you're a faculty member, a software developer, or a leader, the focus is the same: making opportunity work for everyone by expanding access and improving quality in higher education. If you are searching for a purpose-driven career and an opportunity to work with an innovative, dedicated team, WGU is the right place for you. Thank you for taking the time to consider Western Governors University.
Thank you for queuing that up for me, Jared. I really appreciate it. So it's great to hear from Scott, and I'm really glad that he took an opportunity to really talk about WGU and our mission and our vision. And it's really simple. Our mission is to change lives for the better by creating pathways to opportunity. And our vision is to be the most innovative, student-centric university. I think those are pretty simple, terms, and one that I feel that each and every single employee here at WGU has an opportunity to live by. And just talking about my own personal story and looking back over the last 9 years, when I joined WGU, I have to say that I had been in, the corporate world, had been through, a few career changes throughout my time, and coming into WGU and working for a nonprofit organization was the first thing that stood out to me, and being a part of something bigger. And knowing that the work that we do and the significance of that work really stood out to me. And as I, had an opportunity to really get to know the organization, I really noticed something very similar and common around me is that all of my coworkers were also very, very passionate about what we do and the significance of their work. And to have an organization that roots for one another and stands out, as far as making sure that each individual is successful in their role, was something that I was not familiar with. Being in the recruiting world, it's a very reactive industry at times, and we're all out for our own mission, and that is to fill a role or fill a position. But here, it was hearing hiring managers talk about their needs and their stories and what they're looking for and what gaps they're looking to fill on their team and what we can be doing to help find that particular set of experiences to help enhance their team. And every single day, it's just been a unique and fun and different challenge. And my personal story here is the individuals that I get to work with every single day keep me excited coming to work, keep me excited about what I do. And I'm one of the lucky ones because I get to not only talk to the people that are looking for a new opportunity, looking to step into something that feels significant. I get to tell my story. And, I believe that each and every single one of those individuals that have started here at WGU have their own unique story to be able to tell. And it's really fun to be able to run into those folks and see how they're doing and what they're enjoying in their new role. And it's a very rewarding experience. So Jared, I would love to talk about our cultural beliefs. Let's take a dive into these. So WGU created some cultural beliefs that I feel are significant to talk about. We have what's called leadership principles as well. And leadership principles, we have 11 of those, and each and every single one of those leadership principles is kind of set in stone. Those are things that are engraved in what we do and the work that we do every single day. But the WGU cultural beliefs were created to be more fluid and to evolve over time. And, we talk about one by one. We talk about advancing equity. We talk about aiming true and owning it. These are all words that we use in our everyday language here at WGU. And, with over 130,000 students, and I think we're at like around 9,500 employees, give or take. To be able to all speak the same language and know what each and every single one of these, words and meanings are in the daily work that we do is so monumental and so foundational in who we've become and who we're continuing to become and evolve into as an organization. And so everyone, has an opportunity to, participate in these cultural beliefs. And we have some really great employee resource groups that I would like to talk about as well too here at Western Governors University. And these were created to really help empower individuals with whatever uniqueness, whatever interests that they have, anything that they want to bring to the table. We can create employee resource groups. Anyone can create these here at the university. And, we are endeavoring to be the world's most inclusive university. We want to match our employee workforce to that of our student populations and demographics. And we do an incredible job at this. And we're very committed to promoting inclusion, respect for differences, equal opportunity, and diversity within our institution. So we believe in the power of education. We believe in the value of expanding access and opportunity to all individuals. And our goal is to really create an environment where our students, faculty, and staff can all feel comfortable and safe with being able to live their best lives and show their best versions of themselves. For just continuing to grow and develop, and they're supported in that way. So these are all voluntary. We have, I lost track, but I think we're up to about 13 now, if there's not more. But for example, we have our Ebony Owls, our Indigenous at WGU Owls, our Latinx Owls. We have our Open Minds for Wellness Owls. Owl parents are Pan-Asian owls. We have pride owls, silver owls, and solo owls, and our verge owls, and then women at WGU as well too. And I think we've added a few more since then as well. So we're really excited to be able to offer these employee resource groups. And this is just one of the many things that we have available to you at the university. And I'm going to hand the time over actually to Jared. He is going to take a deep dive into some pathways and some of the benefits that we offer here at WGU. So I'll hand the time over to Jared now.
Thank you, Corey. And it's great to be here with everyone. As Corey shared, my name is Jared Schiller. I'm one of the talent acquisition managers here. I have been with the university for a little over 7 years, which is crazy because it feels like it was just yesterday I was brought into the organization. In terms of my story, I'll just share that for a moment. I have been in recruiting for a number of years, but had a stint in higher ed as a leader of an academic organization. And I'll tell you, one of the really great things that drove me to WGU was the vision of this organization. Not only are we trying to be the most inclusive university out there, but this is a wildly innovative organization. We don't do higher education, as many of you know, as is traditionally done. It's wildly innovative. We're very forward thinking, and especially in today's day and age, at least in my opinion, I think this is really needed. And so being part of WGU is being part of an organization that is very forward looking, that's looking to the future of education and what the country and especially underserved markets are really needing. One of the changes I think recently in careers is the fact that, you know, the idea of you start with a company and you grow through the ranks and, you know, you spend 30 years there and get your pension, obviously that is no longer. And careers these days are much more fluid and they're non-linear. So you may, you know, move up in this role, you may move backwards and forwards in order to get kind of where you're going in terms of your goals and your own development. And one of the great things about WGU is we have just an incredibly wide diversity of jobs and opportunities here at WGU. So it supports a variety of pathways and a variety of employee types. So you have individuals that are brand new coming out of school that are looking for that entry level opportunity. There are those that are just loving what they do and are looking to grow and advance in those roles. There's individuals that may be on a given track, but, you know, want to move in a slightly different area or move, kind of pivot to the left or pivot to the right. And then there's those of us that, you know, want to take that jump into leadership and developing individuals and growing teams. And there's a variety of other pathways out there available to you as well. And so again, one of the great things about this organization is the variety and breadth of opportunities that we have here. As Corey said, we have about 9,500 employees here currently, and they cover a variety of things from IT professionals, cybersecurity professionals that are preventing malicious attacks on our student data. It's supporting faculty, it's being a faculty member or being a faculty leader. So again, wherever you're at in your career, there's likely to be an opportunity here at WGU for you. And again, one of the other really powerful things for me is working in an industry where you're helping to support people. You know, there's many other choices out there for individuals to work for organizations where you're, you know, creating widgets or whatever. But here at WGU, our product is the hopes and dreams of students and individuals looking to, you know, advance themselves and grow and help support their families. And I'll tell you that it is an incredibly rewarding experience to work for an organization that is truly looking at embedding, you know, individuals out there. One of the other great things about WGU is the benefits that we offer. I think many people think you come to a not-for-profit organization and you're going to see some, you know, reduction in the quality of benefits and compensation and things like that. And here at WGU, we actually try and be fairly aggressive to the best of our ability with those things. So when it comes to compensation, we tend to be maybe not the highest paying organization out there, but we try to be very, very competitive out there in the marketplace. And similarly with our benefits, as you can see from the list here, we have a variety of benefits to help support our employees, from a great medical and dental and pharmacy plans. And we have several that are available to employees to help support your needs. And that goes from, you know, traditional low deductible plans to higher deductible plans that are paired with health savings accounts or flexible savings accounts. You've got counseling resources for those that are interested in, you know, mental health and those sorts of opportunities. Financial protection, there's incredible life and disability insurance options here. We have a beautiful retirement savings plan here, and it's one of my favorite benefits because right out of the gate here at WGU, we will contribute 3% of your gross salary into that retirement plan. And then for an individual, if you're willing to make contributions yourself into that plan, we will match dollar for dollar up to an additional 3%. So if you're willing to contribute 3% of your salary into that plan, WGU will match that 3% as well. So again, really, really great options there. And then we also have some identity theft and legal assistance that's available. I can share a story. I just used that myself recently where my wife was hacked into several of her accounts. And so we were able to utilize some of those benefits to provide greater protection for us going forward. So very much appreciative of that. And then we also have well-being benefits. So there's incentive programs for, you know, if you're exercising and doing things that are going to improve your wellness, we have a plan where you can earn points and get rewarded for those activities. Additionally, we have paid time off for vacation, holidays, and sickness. WGU actually just moved to a flexible time off plan. So again, it's really designed to support employees and their needs. And, you know, you're going to have those opportunities where you have to take the kids to the baseball game, or, you know, maybe you have a doctor's appointment, or you just want to take some time off. And again, that is available to you here as an employee as well. In addition to that, there's chronic condition support as well. We talked a little bit about compensation. Again, WGU tries to be very competitive with our salaries. So we're constantly evaluating market conditions, and especially with inflation and things like that have occurred in recent years, we've tried to make adjustments to our salary ranges to accommodate for some of those market shifts that are maybe not necessarily, you know, in any individual's, you know, control. And again, our pay here is performance-based as well. So if you're successful here, you can certainly influence raises and other opportunities for growth as you advance here at WGU. In addition to that, and we call them additional benefits, but I think that these are incredibly powerful benefits as well, is, you know, working here at WGU provides you a great tuition discount. Many of the individuals I work with and know here at WGU are also students. And what a more powerful experience for me as an employee than to actually be a student here as well and get that experience and those insights that make me better at my job by, you know, knowing that student side even more. There's also discounts available through programs like, we call it Perk Shot, but this allows you discounts into things like, I've seen discounts for daycare. You can get discounts off, you know, computers. If you're buying a new, you know, iPhone or something like that, there's opportunities for discounts here as well. And then we have a variety of volunteer programs. And as Corey mentioned, there's ERGs and other opportunities for employees to not only bond as a group of employees, but also to fulfill greater community needs and opportunities there. Talking a little bit about the roles here, we really have two sides of the house here at WGU. So if your passion is working with students and supporting students or building curriculum or those things that surround the student, there's a variety of opportunities there. But there's many of us that have more of a corporate kind of lean to our career path. Maybe, you know, you're pursuing, you know, a legal degree, or maybe you're going into accounting or something like that. We have a variety of roles that support a ton of areas like public policy, marketing, enrollment, you can come be a recruiter here with Corey and I in people and talent. So again, a variety of opportunities that cover kind of a plethora of experiences that people come to this university with. So with that, I'll turn it back to Corey, who's going to introduce Christina, who's going to talk to us a little bit about her experience here at WGU.
Yeah, thanks, Jared. Yes, we have Christina here. Christina, wave. And we're going to hand the time over to Christina. She's going to talk to us a little bit about her story, about her student journey here at WGU, and what it's like to work at Western Governors University and the roles that she's had here. And Christina, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's really exciting to be able to share my journey and meet all of you. And I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, so I saw a couple people on the list that are from the North Carolina area or the South. So welcome, welcome, and to everyone here. My journey at WGU started with a stroller. My girlfriend and I would walk with our kids in the stroller every day, and she told me how much she loved her job at WGU. And I was like, what's that? Like, what's that place? And she was an evaluator. She still is. She still works here for more than 13 years. And I listened to her and I'm like, yeah. I had my own career. I had my own business, an entrepreneur. And one day, one of the contracts that I was contracting for said, oh, well, you need a master's degree to like get that contract. And I was like, I'll just go get a master's degree, no problem. And I called up Michelle and I was like, so what's the name of that place again? So she gave it to me and I signed up. And I absolutely fell in love. I absolutely loved the model. I loved my mentor. I loved the instructors. And sometimes I could have a little bit of an attitude. I felt like, oh, I don't need anybody to check up on me. I'm an adult. I can do my thing. Or, I know that already. I already learned that on my journey. But I love the support. I was eventually humble enough to accept it. And I loved what one of the course instructors said to me. Well, why did you go to school if you know it all? And they said it much nicer than that. But it was a really good opportunity for me to step back and go, yeah, I should take advantage of this, learn everything I can. So during that process, and because of my experiences with my course instructors, the evaluators that read my papers, grade me, gave feedback, and my mentor, I thought, I want to work here. I want to be a mentor. And I had background in education, and I also had background in mentoring because I'm a certified coach. And now I'm going to have a shiny new master's degree. So I applied and I applied and I applied. I think it took 3 times before it was the right time in my life to be a mentor at WGU. So I started my journey here as a mentor in the School of Business in the accounting area, which if anybody knows me, accounting is far from something that I am interested in. But I'm interested in it now because I got to learn about the types of students we had, the programs, and help them navigate throughout the process, which is one of the more difficult programs. So what I really loved is to remember that each and every student's hopes and dreams are in this phone call. Every paper, every assessment they took, we celebrated. And when things didn't work out and they didn't meet competency, we worked together and helping them get back on the bicycle, get back to where they remind them of their why. So during that process of being a mentor and guiding and coaching and concierge desking all these students, I absolutely love it. And something was drawing me back to the art of connection, which is just really a passion of mine. I think I was born with it. And I had recruiting experience, and I was kind of looking at that next stage that Jared was talking about. What do you want to do next? And I thought, I want to hang my hat over in people and talent and recruiting. So I do what I do, and I started connecting. I think I connected with Jared. I connected with a couple other people and careers, and kind of figured out what do I need to do to get there. So I worked through that and applied, and so grateful for the opportunity to work on the talent team now for almost 2 years. So I've been at WGU for almost 6 years. So 2 of those years I've been here in the talent department. So I started out on Jared's team actually, and now I get to be on Corey's team, but I feel like we're all just one happy team. It just depends on what we're recruiting for. We all work together, we help each other out. And right now, my emphasis is academic delivery. So I'm working with course instructors and evaluators. But today, I think I was tasked with talking a little bit about the course instructor role. So I want to go over that with you. I think there's a slide for that. I saw it, but if not, I don't need it. But we kind of have a couple classifications for course instructors. So we have our full-time faculty, which is 40 hours, plus or minus, right? Never minus, always more. We work 40 hours, and then 10 of those 40 hours are usually outside in the evenings and on a weekend day. All course instructors work a student-centric schedule because you are all our night owls, and we want to make sure that we have coverage to help you in whatever time zone you are in, and that you are able to meet with your course instructor and get the assistance that you need. Then we have part-time, which is usually around 20 to 25 hours, and that varies depending on what school or what the position is. And they are those are mostly evening hours and part of a weekend. Again, instructors work weekends. There's not any negotiation on that. The nice thing about both of these schedules is you get to pick what schedule you want to work, but you have to stick to it. So if you decide I'm going to work Monday, Wednesday night, I'm going to work Saturday morning, that's your schedule. Your students are going to count on you, and so is your team. And then we have 2 other classifications. One is called adjunct, and it's a year old now, so we've been having adjuncts for about a year. And then we also have one called visiting instructors. I'm going to go through adjunct a little bit. It's a little bit more, it's starting to be a little bit more popular. And adjuncts, for the most part, work about 10 hours a week. They also have a set schedule, and it is in the evenings and part of a weekend. And usually our managers in those areas kind of have times in which they're looking for to kind of fill the gaps. So they kind of work out, looks like, you know, Wednesday nights, we need a little more coverage, and we talk about a schedule. So it's not as free flowing as you pick your own schedule, but there is more of a negotiation there. Adjuncts work for 6 months in the course that they applied and are assigned to. So that's their course for 6 months. They are considered an employee here, and you get robust training. And I say you get it because it's amazing. So you have about 30 hours of training, and it's mostly asynchronous, but there's a good portion of it that we want to know you, we want to connect with you, you want to meet your mentor on the team as that you're going to work on, so you can job shadow them, they can job shadow you, you can role play, you meet with your manager, you're integrated as part of the team, so some of those things cannot be done on your own time. And then once you finish that training, you move on to be the course instructor in the adjunct area. And when that 6 months is completed, there are some options. It's depending on, you know, the need at the university, it might be extended to sign on for another 6 months. It might be that there might be another course that you saw you might be interested in. And there are a lot of adjuncts that I would say a good handful of them this year that decided to work for us full-time and part-time. So you also would have an opportunity to look at those jobs, being that you're also an employee. So what does an instructor do here? I hope you know, and I hope you've spoken to your instructors. And if you haven't, and you think you want to be an instructor, I recommend that you make some appointments. But an instructor, my favorite thing about them is they work with you one by one, just as your mentor does. They want you to succeed in the time that you're in your course. They want to remove all barriers. So you can connect with them. You will connect with them via a calendar and pick time on their calendar to meet with them. And you get to decide what you want to talk about. Course instructors also create cohorts, or they go into digital classrooms or create additional learning materials that follow the curriculum, but maybe you just need a little more help in an area, or maybe you're more of an auditory listener. So maybe they're going to record something for you. So that's what I mean when I say they're working with students one by one. You get to work with the student. Some of the things that people don't know about being an instructor position, and you might have figured it out because you worked here, is our instructors do not create curriculum. Our curriculum is created by, we have curriculum writers, and then we have instructional designers that get it online. So our course instructors really get to focus on the curriculum with the student and actually teach it. So when I talk about that in interviews, a lot of people are really excited about that. And when students don't meet mastery, whether it be in a task that they submitted or an assessment, they get the opportunity to meet with their course instructor to get additional clarification and help. Again, we want to partner with our students to help them get to that finish line. It's not a punitive thing, it's actually a partnership. So our course instructors, as in working here, really love that opportunity to dig in with the student to see where is it that they need help. The one last thing that course instructors get to do, and you might have kind of figured out that this happens, every time they work and every moment they're working, they have a dashboard that gives them some messages that kind of helps them understand who needs me today, who needs my help. And those might be in the form of celebrations. You passed a test last night, you graduated, and those might be in the forms of momentum, noticing that, let's just say I was the student and I said I was going to be done with the course at the end of the month, and looks like I didn't do much yet. So maybe a course instructor might reach out and say, hey, let's partner together. Let me help you hit that start button. So accountability. Etc. So there's all these like really wonderful kind of reminders, who needs me most to help the instructor stay organized. And because students are going through this at their pace like you are, sometimes the course instructors don't get to meet every student that's on their agenda. Students move in and out at their pace, but they're always there if you need them. So that's kind of a peek of my journey here at WGU, from the stroller to hiring instructors. And I want to point out to you and invite you, being curious and connecting is really going to be helpful on your journey for your next career. So be curious, like I was when my friend was, we were in stroller talk. So later on, that information was helpful to me. And then connecting when I'm curious about, I think I want to work there. Let me talk to my mentor. I think I want to do recruiting. Let me talk to that department and find out what it is. So I invite you to connect with me on LinkedIn as well. And if you see something that you'd like to talk about or you want to have a conversation, please let me know, and I'm happy to do that one by one.
Thank you so much, Christina. And I'll just follow up with talking really quickly about the course instructor role and some of the requirements around that role. Here at WGU, I've been in recruiting a long time, and I will tell you that in other roles, it's one of those things where if a candidate was really close to the requirements, I would encourage them to apply. I will say that when you get into an academic environment, especially for our academic roles, faculty roles, our requirements tend to be pretty rigid. So candidates will need to meet these in order to be considered for our positions here, because we're bound by accreditation requirements. We've got accreditors that come into WGU and will evaluate us in terms of our adherence to standards around quality. And WGU does an amazing job with this, but as a candidate, it is something that you should be aware of. For a course instructor, typically most of our roles require at least a master's degree. Many of them also require a doctorate or a terminal degree in that specific content area. So if it's a marketing course, you're likely going to need that graduate degree or that terminal degree in marketing. Most of our roles also require a minimum of 3 years of experience providing student support, instruction, or assessment evaluation. So again, we want you to have a bit of experience working with students, supporting students in an academic environment. As Christina articulated, we work with a variety of students from all walks of life and shapes and sizes across the United States. And so your ability to work with a diverse profile of students and be able to understand unique needs and the variance in those needs that exist between one student and the next is critical to our positions here. And also, as Christina highlighted, those nights and weekends, right? Our students here, most of us are working. I'm a student currently at WGU. I have a day job. Sometimes it's hard to find opportunities on that lunch break to reach out to a course instructor. And so it's nice that we have an ability for our faculty members to contact students when it works for them. And that's typically in the evenings, on weekends. And so our faculty roles, it's very important that you have some flexibility in your schedule in order to support students during those unique timeframes that students have needs. So we'll talk a little bit about some current openings that we have here at WGU. So we just wanted to call attention to some of the existing positions that we have in addition to course instruction. As you can see, there's a variety of roles that cover the gamut. We've got a program experience strategist, a content design writer, we've got a leadership role, director of institutional research. There's learning resource curators in the School of Business, an accessibility analyst, manager of procurement, the data scientist, course instructors, and I'll throw this in there. There's mentors, there's evaluators. So there's a variety of roles that we have currently available. And it's a very, very fluid here at WGU. We are a large organization and we're constantly hiring in different areas. So what you see today on our job board is likely to look very different tomorrow, especially at this time of year. I'll be very transparent. We just had our budgets come in for the remainder of the year. So right now, many of the organizations across WGU are receiving the positions that they'll have for the remainder of the year. And so they're beginning to action those in higher volumes. So again, what you see today can change dramatically as you follow that. So again, my advice to you would be to stay current on the job board, visit it frequently, because what exists today may look very different in the future. So with that, I'll throw it out to the audience for questions. Christina and Corey and myself would be happy to address any questions or comments that anybody has.
And feel free, anybody, if you want to put those into the chat or if you want to take yourself off mute, might be easier to throw it into the chat. Some questions that did come in already. Amy asked, are there software development jobs and what sort of tech jobs are available?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I'll admit that I am not the resident expert on our corporate jobs, especially our ed tech positions. I do know that we have some budgeted positions that are going to be, rolled out if we don't already have some posted. But we do have those available. And I think the best thing to do is if you see something that is posted, feel free to apply, and then you're more than welcome to reach out to myself. And I would be sure to make sure your resume gets over to that talent partner. And they're really the best ones to help answer any of the unique questions that you might have for some of those technical roles.
I'll just add to that, the job board that we have here at WGU is fairly dynamic in terms of its search capabilities. So you can not only search by area or department, you can also keyword search. So if you were looking for cybersecurity roles, as an example, you could type in cybersecurity and it would pull up results that would align with those inquiries that you're making into the search bar. So again, I would just echo what Corey said, just, utilize that, and again, check it frequently because things change pretty rapidly on that.
And I just put a link to our careers page, so feel free to have a peek at that once we're done here.
I see a question in here about remote roles. I can speak a bit to that. In terms of the positions that tend to be remote here at WGU, you'll find that most, if not all, of the faculty positions here at WGU are largely remote. So we've got course instructors, we've got program mentors, we've got evaluators. These are all work at home positions. We do have some unique positions. If you're in nursing, as an example, you might be working in a lab as a learning lab instructor. And so we do have some roles like that that tend to be on site or in a unique geography. But again, the vast majority of the faculty roles are going to be remote. Outside of that, it's really, you're going to have to just be mindful of that job posting, because that will delineate where that role is based. So it might be a hybrid in-office, remote type situation. It could be full-time in office, or you could have a role that is 100% remote. And it does vary a little bit from department to department and role to role. Again, especially on the corporate side, I would say it's a little more unique to positions. But again, in academics, most of those roles are going to be remote. When you start getting into leadership roles, those tend to, the higher up you go, tend to have a greater likelihood of being based out of Salt Lake City.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. My name is Renata. Hello from New York. And I graduated from WGU sometime the beginning of this year. Obtained an MBA in healthcare management. And I've actually recommended to all my friends to enroll into WGU. They love it. And one of them is already graduated, and the other is about to graduate sometime this month. And I have always wanted to be a mentor at WGU. Is there any specific requirements for that role?
Christina, do you want to answer that one?
Could you say it again, please? That something was wrong with my audio. Apologize.
Okay, what are the specific requirements to be a mentor at WGU? My current role, I'm a director of marketing, but I wanted to, I'm passionate about, interacting with students, helping with students. I do have a degree in elementary education, so it's something I enjoy doing. My career path took me a different direction, but I always wanted to join WGU. So I would like to know, what are the requirements to be a mentor?
Great. So sometimes some of our mentor roles, depending on what college, might have a slight variance. For example, like in the School of Education, they do have some differences. Like they want their mentors to have K-12 experience teaching, that kind of thing. But regardless, across the board, mentors do require a master's degree because you are considered faculty. And we also look for people that have student-facing experience. So that could be in the form of working in higher ed or working in a school, or possibly sometimes, students are in a company in the training area. That kind of thing could potentially count as part of that requirement. Some roles do prefer, or some are requesting now, that you have some kind of coaching certification. I would just kind of look at the job description to see, the nuances of what they're actually requesting or preferred. But I would be happy to chat with you about that if you'd like, and take a look at your resume. I think the most important thing is that you make sure that the story is on your resume. So if you have experience in working with students, make sure we can read about it. If you've got the master's degree, make sure it's on the resume and it's updated. Anything like that, if you have any, experience in coaching or any kind of certifications, put it on your resume so that we know about it. But if you have any questions or need clarification on anything, I'd be happy to help you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I would just add to that, in terms of what Christina shared, anytime you're building a resume, especially as a talent partner, I can tell you, make those qualifications that you meet very obvious, right? If the job posting says you need 3 years in K-12 education, I would have a big bullet point on that resume highlighting that, just so it's very clear that you do meet the requirements. As Christina also shared, when it comes to mentoring roles across kind of our 4 schools, when you're looking at like the School of Health or the School of Education, they tend to have more of that professional experience requirement in their job description. So as a nurse, obviously one of those requirements is likely to be an RN degree if you're supporting the nursing programs. As Christina shared, in the School of Education, they also tend to have a few of their mentor roles have that, I believe it's 3 years of K-12 experience and want you to have a license in teaching as well. Outside of that, when you get into the School of Business and the School of Technology, their requirements on their job descriptions tend to be a little bit looser than what you might see in the other two schools. So again, just depending on that area of expertise you have, that might give you a little bit of guidance in terms of what mentor roles you might want to be looking at.
Thank you.
One question that did come in that a few people liked: would a WGU student or alumnus have an advantage in getting a job over somebody not already associated with the university?
We treat all candidates fair and equitable, but it's a bonus because you've sampled the product, and we definitely highlight that when we pass it on to the hiring managers.
Just a quick question about job descriptions. Is there a place where we can view a general job description for a position, say as like a mentor for the business school, where we could see what the general requirements are for that position without a job being posted?
No, we don't have any of that publicly available, but if you're interested in kind of exploring, what might it look like if I were to, be interested in a job in a specific area, I would just encourage you to reach out to Corey or myself or Christina, who can help kind of walk you through what we typically see in terms of job descriptions in certain areas, but we don't have any of that generic information posted publicly, though.
Okay. And I missed the first part of this. Is there should I just write down your names and reach you through the school email, or
Yeah,
um,
we'll
is
put
there a
our
link?
contact information in the chat for all three of us. So you're welcome to contact any of us if you have questions.
Excellent. Thank you.
Corey just threw that in the chat for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
Melissa, you had your hand raised. I wanted to make sure that you were able to ask your question. Oh, Melissa, you're coming in a little choppy. We can't really hear you. Melissa, you're coming in a little choppy with the microphone. So if you could type that into the chat, and we'll read it off. MM had their hand raised.
Hello. I recently graduated, so I have no skills, talent, or connections. I'm just wondering what kind of job would kind of be like ideal for someone who's like graduated like recently. Like I have a bachelor's in cybersecurity, so I'm just wondering like what would be good for me.
Well, congratulations on your graduation. That's wonderful news. But now you have a connection because I said I would connect with you. Secondly, you can take advantage of our awesome Career Center, which is your lifelong benefit to being a WGU graduate. You got to start somewhere. So do you have a resume?
Yeah, I already contacted the Career Center. They were completely useless.
Okay, I'm sorry for that.
I would say definitely shoot me an email. I'll put my email contact. So I am from the careers team, so I want to make sure that we'll connect with you and definitely help you out there. But I will post my email in the chat. Let's connect. We'll have a conversation and then go from there.
Okay.
Melissa, I see your question. So does a PhD and experience in different subject matter preclude Melissa from going into an area I want to go into? An example would be business.
No, it certainly does not. Although, again, I would just pay mind to the specific requirements of that job. So, we are pretty clear in terms of denoting what those minimum requirements are. If you meet the minimum requirements of that role, I would say, additional certifications and qualifications on top of that can certainly be an advantage. I think it just depends on the position that you're interested in.
We have about 8 minutes left. Any other questions that people had? I know a lot of questions are coming in. Do you have, this position open? I'm going to say, hey, check out that careers page and see what opportunities are available on that page. So if you're asking questions, do you have X, Y, and Z type of position open? Definitely check that out and see what type of opportunities we currently have open. Jared had mentioned this is changing constantly. So if you don't see it today and you log in next week, you might see an opportunity that you're certainly interested in. So definitely check that out.
I tell people to look at the job board once a day with your coffee if you're serious about working here.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to working through my capstone project now, and I'm getting, as soon as that's done, then I want to get into the MBA program. Through working through that program, so I'm a little bit older. I have 30 years business experience in public sector, private sector, and as a decade as a small business owner. So I'm really interested in opportunities in the business school. I think I might have some valuable insight that might be helpful to somebody, maybe as a mentor or something like that. Working through the MBA program, is there resources, or is there people that make good connections with that might help as I wrap that program up to um, not like an inside track, but sometimes it's who when you're getting into jobs and things like that that can be helpful. So is there a pathway for that, or is there additional things that I can do going through that program to kind of help that along, if that makes sense?
What is it that you're looking to accomplish once you complete it? I wasn't clear on the job you're looking for.
I was thinking probably maybe as a mentor, or in the department where they do the say grading of the papers. What's that?
Evaluation.
Yeah. Evaluation. Thank you. Both of those roles seem very interesting to me. I've been in business for a long time, mainly on the operations end of things, very hands-on, and so I'm looking to, as I get closer towards the end of my career, if you will, making a career change. So my job descriptions may not be in line with the role that I'm looking for, but I think I could be a valuable asset in those two areas with the experience that I do have.
Well, I would start with, again, inviting you to our wonderful career center and getting a resume upgrade. I mean, they're gonna do a resume review, and then you can kind of start figuring that out. And then connections, you've got the WGU Connect, you've got the other alumni association, myself. And that's a good way to start, just to gather information. And it's not really necessarily an end, but it's an extension of we'd love to help you.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I saw a question about the evaluator role. I can just speak to that quickly. Evaluators are part of our faculty triad here at WGU. They're not student facing, but they are the individuals that are grading all of the student assessments. And so the work of an evaluator is largely solitary in terms of you're working, by yourself, but it's usually just reviewing student work and making those assessments. It's typically an evaluator is going to require a terminal degree because they are the ones actually doing the grading on that. Especially early on, I would not say the evaluator role is wildly flexible because there are some pretty rigid requirements around hours and training and things like that. But especially in the evaluator role, if you find yourself as a successful evaluator that's doing well in their job, there tends to be a bit of flexibility in that role as well. So it tends to be a little bit unique in terms of what they are doing, but it's an incredibly valuable role here and one of the most important parts of that faculty model. So
Can you elaborate a little on, you said terminal degree, what specifically are you referring to?
so like a PhD or a doctorate.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Most of our evaluators also start part-time. So a lot of the evaluator roles that you'll see posted are generally part-time roles. A lot of individuals start as part-time in those roles. So many of our evaluators tend to be full-time in other organizations. I know I support the School of Education, so we've got several evaluators that are principals and things like this that do evaluation in their off time. But many of our evaluators, as they find success, or maybe they just really like what they're doing, will also transition into full-time roles. And so there is certainly a pathway there from a part-time position into a full-time position, and even into leadership if that's an area that you're interested in.
So one question that did come in, there's an individual filling out their application now. Is there somebody that they can connect directly with to discuss just a few questions about the role?
Certainly. Any of the three of us here would be happy to help you. And yes, we do post entry-level positions, so they would be on our job board as well, Miranda. And Michaela, yes, we do have a lot of entry-level opportunities, or opportunities for those that don't have graduate degrees as well. I tend to support, Corey and I support the academic side of the house. So in academics, you're likely to see more of those requirements of having the graduate degree than you would in other areas. But if you don't have a master's degree, I would also encourage you to look at maybe the corporate opportunities that we have available there as well. And there are other opportunities within the colleges that on occasion don't require that as well. So one example of that, I support the School of Education. Within our nursing programs, there are laboratories that students go in to practice their nursing skills. And one of those opportunities is simulation, where the students practice on robots that can replicate human physiology, and students have to treat these patients. Well, there's an individual on the other side of the curtain that's actually running the robot. We call them a simulation technician. So a simulation technician, as an example, is somebody that's typically has some experience in healthcare, but is very knowledgeable from a systems perspective in terms of running a robot and the IT side of that. But those generally don't require a master's degree. And there's a number of opportunities like that. Again, I would just encourage you to search the job board. You can actually search by, again, those qualifications as well.
I did want to just wrap up, be respectful of everybody's time. Thank you so much to Jared, Corey, and Christina for jumping in, presenting, answering questions that individuals have. Just a reminder to everybody, this session was recorded. It will be sent out probably sometime tomorrow along with a questionnaire. We just ask that you please fill out the questionnaire. We value your opinion, and we host these sessions for both our students and alumni. So we're certainly taking a look at that feedback, and you'll be be able to go back and watch, rewatch anything that was covered today. But thank you everybody for jumping in, participating. Questions were fantastic. Again, thank you, Jared, Christina, and Corey for presenting to everybody today. And hopefully everybody enjoys the rest of their Wednesday afternoon. Take care.
Take care.